Hey guys, it's Chris. Just wanted to go over today what the general idea of tuning a vehicle is like. Got Adam's '07 Tahoe here and just going to go through the process. There's really three steps when you tune any vehicle. You pull off the tune that's on there, you then scan the vehicle, see what kind of data it's giving you and what you need to change. And then after you change it, you program it back into the computer, check it again until everything is right. This truck is stock besides the cold air intake, which we will need a tune for that. And we'll look at the air fuel when we're driving it to see what changes we need to make. You get different benefits depending on what your goals are. A truck like this is daily and just has a little intake. We're going to try to get the transmission to last a little bit longer. We'll get a little more power out of it, make sure the air fuel is correct for the intake, and then definitely longevity of the parts by making sure everything's working as efficiently as possible. A lot of times, even a stock car, the air fuel is not right factory, or depending on what fuel you use. A lot of people with gas prices run a lot of 87, so we can take timing out to help keep it from spark knocking, things of that nature. And then, of course, if you modify them, then you have to change things because it won't run right with modified camshafts, superchargers, etc. So, tuning it and pulling the tune on something like this is easy. You turn the key forward and we have the program already up, and then we'll pull everything up in about 5 minutes. Well, what we did there is we pulled the stock calibration off of the truck. So now you're pulling it up in HPTuners to get all the information and current tune that's in the vehicle. And you can see everything that the computer's doing, from where it wants to idle at, to how much fuel it gives it, to the tire size, how the transmission shifts, spark, fuel, everything that the computer does is able to be manipulated and corrected in something like this, because when we're looking at something like this, you want it to be, right for the vehicle. So now we're going to look at here, and I'm going to start making some changes to fix his intake, turn the fans on a little bit sooner, and a lot of things like that that'll just make it a little bit better to drive, and like I said before, last a little longer. So you start opening up different tables and things, and we'll start going through some and getting it a new calibration done, and then we'll load that new calibration back onto the truck. Once that's done, then we'll pull up the scanner and log what the truck's doing. You can see you can make sure that everything you did is doing it correctly and the truck likes it. Do that a few times and you'll have it dialed in. Yeah, well, the programs are very generic, so you're putting the same 3 or 4 tunes on every truck that you buy it for. So this is going to be set up exactly for your truck, and that makes a big difference because they can be a little too much or a little too less, or you might not notice any difference sometimes. So having it tailored fitted to your car is a big difference. Yeah, because what happens is when you're cruising around town, your converter's locking and unlocking and unlocking and locking the whole time. Just do it in 5th and 6th gear where it's on the highway, 45 mile an hour or so above, and in 5th or 6th gear. Then if you tow with it a lot, we can lock it up a little bit lower, but once you get moving, it's still going to be locked up anyway. Yeah, that's something I like to do. So now I've saved the first version on there. We already have what I'm going to do. Now I have to turn the key back forward, put the truck into accessory mode or run mode without the vehicle running, and then we're going to download this tune into the truck before we crank it back. So now it's scanning on the it's on the scanner now, and pulling up all the information about how it's running. It shows how much fuel it's adding, the timing that it has in it, and a bunch of other things regarding the engine coolant temp and air intake temp, etc. We review this, and now we'll be able to see how it's liking the changes we did and what we might need to do next to finish it up. So I'm gonna let it get about 3-4 minutes of runtime. That way we can see what kind of air fuel it's running, if it's having to add a lot of fuel, if it's having to take out, and we can dial in the intake. And then we'll go for a test drive, and that should be pretty close. On a stock truck, it's usually 1 or 2 renditions and we're done. So we just drove the truck and noticed a few little things we want to clean up, a little bit of spark knock at low RPM, high load areas. So now, just going back into the same tune we had open before, correcting those little things, adding in, taking out a little bit of time in there, add a little fuel at a different location, and very small changes to get it finished up. We'll load this new tune in the same way we did the last one. Should be able to drive it and get them finished up soon. Yeah, sitting there idling, it got a random misfire every now and then. No codes, it's not enough for a code. So you probably could put plugs and wires on it at some point. I wouldn't make it a major ordeal, but just whenever you wanted to, you could probably put those on there and it might clean up the idle a little bit more. Because it shows like I got all the misfires showing, and like once you're driving it's smooth, so that's usually just like a plug or wire. I think they're originals.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
They've been how many miles is it around the world?
I don't know.
I was wondering if they could go around the world. Oh yeah. Alright, so after that last change, everything came back looking good. So we're now just save the last one. That way I'll have the last tune on file. If I ever need to change anything in the future, I already have everything set up, and it's even a faster process than this was. The truck's running great, and we picked up a little power. The transmission is definitely shifting a little bit nicer, and it's going to help extend the life of the transmission. And probably picked up a little gas mileage with the timing fixes that we did in there as well. So hope you guys enjoyed and learned a little something.